Hi guys, I am pleased to finally be able to do a video about legal OP13 today and to show you the beautiful Emu in full glory. I am currently working towards the max rarity Emu deck. Thanks to some buddies of mine, I will be getting the God Pack Elders later this month. So it's not max rarity yet. I'm working towards it. Just bear with me, guys. Thank you again for watching. If you're here, please subscribe, like the video. But today, the main point of the video, sorry for the glare here. The main point for today is actually to go over Emu, the possibilities you can have with the deck, the flexibility you can have with the deck as well, and talk about its benefits as well as why you should be playing Emu instead of Ace, Rayleigh, Zoro, Roger, etc. As you may know, as I said in last videos previously, I've been playing Emu for about 3 months now. On the Sim, IRL, I had the full Japanese deck as well to play test with the buddies. And I feel like I'm pretty good with the deck at this point. I think I've lost the past month, 2 months, like IRL only once to Pluffy. And I also participated in the Chinoise Cup warm-up event, and I went 3-3. I did lose 2 mirror matches and 1 Roger, but that was purely misplay of me. It was not the deck, it was me. And also being too reliant on getting second curve instead of being able to play going first. That is something I'm working towards right now, going first as well. But first of all, I got to talk about the leader of this beautiful deck. So all black card, no texture, we love it. GG Bandai. But so we have Emu, a 4-life, 5k leader, unicolor, so black color, and you cannot play any events that are 2 or more in your deck, right? Now, why is this leader only 4 life instead of being 5, since it's a unicolor 5k leader? Well, basically, the deck has some pretty insane late games, so you don't really... I mean, if you would be 5 life, it would be even more broken. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Main effect, activate main, you can just trash 1 card from your hand or a Celestial Dragon from your field, and you can draw 1 card. So this is basically usual black color, trash, draw, you know the deal. There we go. So that's a leader for now. Then I'm gonna go over the 10 costs. I think if you play Emu or you're looking into playing Emu, you know what we're playing. We're playing 4-10 Elder. This is the bread and butter of your deck, bro. This is basically your late game play. You just want to see this one. Usually, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I play 4 because you really need it for consistency. But you should actually only play 1 or 2 max a game. Some games are more grindier than others, so you might want to play all 4. But lately, I find myself only playing 1, 2, and sometimes, depending on the matchup, I will play the 3rd and 4th. But this rarely happens lately. It's all about managing and playing right with your units and keeping some board alive until late game, so that you can do multiple swings before even dropping the first Elder. So that's this. Then on to the next, you will play, of course, 4 of the Jupiter. Loki card is insane. It's a 2k counter from hand. Also, if you have 7 or more trash, cannot be removed, as all of the elders except of this one, which we'll discuss later why it is important to know that this one can be removed. Your turn, if you have 10 or more in trash, you will be able to make all your elders type cards. This includes this one as well. 7k base power. So it doesn't give a buff of 2k. It makes them turn into a 7k base power. Why is this important? If you plan on parking your 10 costs, it will not be 12. It will be 7. So sometimes if you want to park your elder, you will first do all the swing with your little elders, I like to call them like that, little unks, and you will do all your 7Ks. Then thanks to the leader effect, you will be able to trash your Jupiter, because it is a Celestial Dragon, right, from the fields, and then your 10 cost will be 12k again. So that's one big swing that you can throw in, and then you can activate the effect of your 10 cost elder to be able to rest 1 down, trash 1 from hand, play all the elders from trash again. I forgot to mention that when with the 10 cost, my apologies. But Jupiter is nuts, because if you can see it on curve going first, you can actually play him to have 2 or 3 swings before playing your first 10 elder. And it's not just 5k swings, it will be 7k swings. You just need the right amount of cards in trash. And if you're at 10 down, 9 down, you should be able to have this amount in trash, right? So Jupiter is amazing. Now to my favorite card of the deck, to be honest. Also the prettiest one in demon form is Mars. Mars is such an oppressive card in OP13. You will be able to remove so trash one from hand, and you will be able to KO a base cost of 5 or less. A base cost. The Koala, your cost bonus, I don't give a fuck. I will just trash your shit. It's also a blocker if you have 7 or more in trash, which is insane. Immovable blocker. The only way to get rid of this card is actually to rest it. So there's no bouncing back, there's no bottom decking it, there's no KOing it. You gotta swing, I gotta block, or you gotta rest it and swing into it. So yeah, it's an amazing card, beautiful card, amazing art by Giga Akatami, my apologies. But yeah, I just love Mars so much. I think it's one of my favorite elders, to be fair, thanks to the anime and the manga. Then we have the overrated elder, Nuzjuro, no alts yet, my apologies. That's basically your rusher guy. That's the guy you want to see in aggro matchup if you feel like you need to be aggro. This is the guy that you actually want to see versus like Roger in the game. Especially when Promo Roger comes out, you really want to be aggro in the early game and staying alive late game. So this guy basically gains rush when you have 7 or more in trash. And if you have 10, when attacking, you can give minus 2k to an opponent's character for the turn. Which is insane because sometimes some of the plays you will be doing versus Ace as well is playing 1-0, maybe you can buff it with Jupiter. Swing into life or whatever, swing into something, minus 2k one of the blocker beers. Then when you go into your 10 cost, the same turn, you can actually play another one and then the blocker build will be 8k. Which makes it really easy to remove the blocker beard with the Nuzjuro, because then it's 8k, you just attach some down to it, maybe make it like 10k, then they will have to either defend the blocker beard or trash from hand or let it die, which both scenarios are good for us, because if you can reduce ace hand size, you're on your way to win the game. Then next elder will be Warcury. Amazing card. Amazing card. I feel like all the elders are amazing. I feel like Nuzjuro is a bit overrated. Some matchup it's really the GOAT, but overall I feel like Mars is amazing. Mercury is also amazing. It's a 4 cost, which is amazing in a mirror match. Blocker when you have 7 or more in trash, and on KO draw 1. It's insane for a hand value because you will be trashing a lot in this deck. You will be searching a lot in this deck, but you will also be filling your trash to make them basically irremovable from like turn 1, turn 2, which is insane. And having 2 blockers at your disposal that cannot be removed through card effects is insane. And there we go. And then on to the last elder, we have Evil Man himself, Saturn. Saturn is just your searcher, nothing too crazy about him. 4 cost search, look at top 5, add 1 elder card, really important, not any celestial dragon, but only elder cards. But it's really good to cycle through your deck if you need to look for your 10 cost or your 2Ks, whatever. Also keep in mind, every elder has counters, at least 1k. Jupiter has 2k, which is insane. That's basically 3 counters for cards that you actually want to throw in the trash as well. Next, we will be having 4 2Ks, Miosguard. To be honest, it's on play. It's not crazy, because when you play him, it's just basically you play a Marie-Joie stage from your trash. If you're at 3 or less life, you're almost never going to use it. I don't think there's any scenario where you want to use that on-play effect. But the fact that it is a 2k in a deck that relies on its early, mid-game survivability, it's really insane. Also, Miosguard the GOAT. Then, I gotta talk about this one. So I was on the Stussy build for a while, and I decided to change. And from the testing I did with Charlos, it's actually really good. Let me zoom out a bit. There we go. Charlos is just the 2k blocker on play trash run from your deck. Why is this better than Stussy? I feel like Stussy lately is only good in a few matchups. Stussy only works We'll go more into that when I discuss the options for the deck. But Stussy only works for a few matchups, while Charlos is always a good card. It's a 1k counter as well, searchable, which is really fucking important. And also being a blocker, a low-cost blocker, means you can like do your 10 cost play, rush with Nozjuro, trash Nozjuro with Emu, and you can still play Charlos from your hand onto the field if you need an extra blocker. If like you're facing against green and you're scared of being horny jonesed, and you can play Charlos, and then you have 3 blockers up. You can still have, let me check, 6, you have 4 done open still for protection, so that's actually really insane. We'll go more over Stussy and the options later on, but this is the deck I'm running right now. Maybe we'll change some things later, but right now I'm really confident into this build right now. Then we have the Searcher Charlia. That's one of the cards you want to see in your opening hands, together with Saturn. Charlia is insane. It's just look at top 3, trash the rest. Add 1 Celestial Dragon, which is basically your whole deck. And when you add, you need to trash 1 from hand, which is not that big of a deal, because you will be basically trashing Charlia of Emu effect to gain 1. So it's basically a recycle. It's legit just recycle, and it feels trash, and it's also 1k counter. The fact that Emu has access to so many counters is beautiful. Then right now I'm currently on 2 Shirahoshis. Like I said, I'm maxing it out. 2k counter, 1 cost. Activate main is actually recycle 2 from your trash. And your opponent, if they have 6 or more cards in hand, they will trash 1. This is insane versus Ace. You have no idea how crazy this card is versus Ace when you can use it to clutch a game. Yesterday I was playing with a good friend of mine. Yeah, shout out to Thibaut. He was playing Ace. I know he hasn't played Ace a lot, but still it's something to note. I used the turn before I used Shiroshi, activate main, trash 1 from his hand, recycle 2 10 costs from my my trash into my deck. I did not play the 10 cost. It was mostly just for the 1 trash. And that 1 trash made it possible for me to be able to make his hand go to 0 the next turn and go for game at that point, because he could not use leader effects. So I basically just swung 11k with Mars into his leader that was back then at 10, because he used 8 cost event plus red gates, 9 cost gate basically. So it was at 10k. So I needed to be able to trash his hand, which was insane. And big props to Thibaut for the fun games yesterday. We played Bonnie. He played Bonnie game 1. I played Emu. And then he played Ace. Keep in mind, he's not a big Ace player. He's mostly like a yellow player. The Bunny matchup was actually very interesting. But yeah, I will try and do some... Also, it's a 2k counter. Really important. But I will try and maybe do some IRL games. Would be interesting for later. Now, the second card for the bread and butter of this deck, you have the Anti-Throne. This card is insane, my brother. First of all, if you have 19 or more cards in your trash, you gain 1k for your turn, which makes your leader 6k. Amazing. So you can basically, versus 5k leaders, you can just force out a 2k every turn, which is amazing. Also, activate main, you can rest this card and trade if you're done, and then you can play one of the elders, depending on how much Dawn you have. So basically, if you have 6 Dawn up, you can rest this stage and play Mars or Venus Duo for 3 Dawn, which is insane value. All your elders basically become a 3 cost. For once, okay, sure. But if you manage your board very well and your blockers and your life, you can basically just start spamming elders and before you can even go to the 10 cost. And that's basically all free swings, free blockers right there. The second stage is we have Marie-Joise. That's just basically for the mirror. I would also recommend to use it versus Rayleigh or Plouffe. Why? Because it basically reduces the cost of your Celestial Dragons from that are 2 or more, reduce it by 1. Which makes your Jupiter a 6 cost, makes your Mars a 5 cost, Juro a 5 cost, Valkyrie, Saturn a 3 cost, Charlos becomes a 1 cost, which is insane as well. 1 cost blocker, trash 1, which is insane. But it's also good into rush matchups. What I mean by that is Rayleigh. Plouffe is really interesting as well because they have access to Magellan and Judgment of Hell. So you cannot rely on actually having 10 Dawn to play your Elder. Empty Throne at that moment can be dead. So Marie-Joise is an option to play into the Plouffe matchup if you're scared of getting Magellan, etc. And also versus Rayleigh, you can just play when you're at 9 or 10, you can play like double or triple for cost. So Valkyrie, Saturn, and then Charlos, and have Dawn up to stay alive, and then you can go for a game right there, which is really interesting. I don't expect to see a lot of Rayleigh coming up, but it is a possibility. Then the events we have, as you know, due to the leader effect, we only have one cost event. So we have the Searcher, 5 Elders as your service. It's basically Charlia without having to trash round from your hand when you add. It's also a trigger, which is amazing. So if usually what I do when I go second is I'll take first life when they get their second turn, they swing. And when you get this hit from life, it just feels amazing. Also, if you open Charlia and this or double this and whatever, it's basically GG because you have your trash set up for 7. So that means your elders are safe and sound. Then I play For Never Existed. If you play less than For Never Existed, there's an issue in your head. No, but really, the Never Existed is insane. In the matchup, if you play against Careless Emu, you can remove their stage, and then they're just stuck there without a stage until they draw Marijoise, which is amazing. But it's mainly the counter. It's a 4K counter. It's beautiful. What I find myself doing lately is I just stack up on those for the late game, especially versus Roger versus Ace. You can actually bait them into trying to do a Roger play by going at 0 life, and you can just do the math and just board control them until you know, oh yeah, I can survive. I can just take that last life. And if they go for a game, they play their Roger for 10 down, they will have nothing else. You can do the perfect math. If they go for Roger, you just counter everything. If you stack up on your counter events, you can just stay alive easily. You have so many 2Ks in the deck. You can just bait Roger and Ace into going for lethal and just fucking them up, like fucking their math up, which is amazing. So there we go. And then the 2 lost cards will be 2 Equilibriums. It's just a 3K counters for your leader only. Never Existed can counter for your characters as well, but Equilibrium is only for the leader. It's a 3K counters, which is also amazing. 1 Dawn, 3K, 1 Dawn, 4K. It's beautiful, nothing else to say. I mean, you can also use this card for basically going a 6 cost or less. So that's the 1 cost that you cannot KO with Mars. I haven't found myself doing it yet. I would understand later maybe if you want to KO a 6 cost or less. But 6 Dawn is still not really valuable enough to do so. Maybe if you have no other play, you could do it. Or maybe KO like an Uta blocker or something. But mostly I just keep it for late game just to stay alive versus the big swings later on. So that's the deck right now. I'm gonna clean this up and then we're gonna go over the options. All right, guys, so we're back to the options. The first one I want to discuss is one I touched a bit during the deck list. It's Stussy. So Stussy, I still think it's an amazing card. The card basically does what it needs to do. It's a 9 cost, trash 1 character, KO up to one of your opponent's character, no cost defined link to it. It's also a 9K body. So usually I played Stussy in only 2 matchups really. Maybe now 3, but 2 mostly. First of all was against Ace when they start playing. So usually Ace, when they're on curve, when they hit their 8 down, they will play the Blocker Beard or any Text Beard, whatever. And if you can go into Stussy the turn after that, and if you have 1 body on board, you can just play Stussy, trash the play they just did, wasting their turn basically. And you still have a 9K swing next turn. And the other matchup was into Roger. When they start spamming Shanks, you just die. Like that's just how it goes. Roger, if they start spamming Shanks, you just die. But the issue is versus Roger, you really don't want to be into that position late game. You actually want to rush Roger down as fast as you can because they will be ramping. They will be reaching late game before you. With Emu, you can possibly actually get really close to game against Roger. You just need to watch out to not put them at 0 if you don't have lethal, because then they can literally have game, right? So that's Stussy. And against Ace, yeah, I'm just saying. Right now, I'm just up to 2 Charlos. I'm up 4 Charlos instead of 2 Stussy, etc. Really, just because Charlos has blocker, Charlos has counters, Charlos feels trash, Charlos just does so many things, and it also keeps your life safe by being a blocker, right? So that is why I'm cutting out Stussy. I will see the use later, maybe after the release of EBR 3 and OP14. But right now, Stussy just going onto the sideboard for now. Then the next one for characters, we have Roswald. Roswald is amazing. It's a searchable pop 2/3 cost characters. It's amazing into Rayleigh, it's amazing into Zoro. So if you're scared that you will be facing a lot of Zoros and Rayleighs, you can play Roswell. That's definitely a possibility, and also fishes, fills trashes as well. And then you can trash it off with Emu, so you're basically good in value. And then the last card I want to talk about is all these years I'm losing my edge. I see a lot of Emu players playing it at 1. The issue being it's only really good in a few matchups, especially being Zoro and Rayleigh again. Because basically when you play this card and if you have 10 or more in your trash, you can add one character with a cost of 3 or less in your hand, which is amazing indeed. You can catch your Shirahoshis, your Mirror's Guard to get a 2k in hand. So it's basically really good to counter, to do an 8k counterplay, or to counter a 5k swing and then a 6k swing. So if you know your opponent has to do that, has to do a 5k and a 6k, this is really good. But again, I feel like you already have so many options in the deck, and since this is not searchable at all, this is really good against Zoro Rayleigh, as I said, and I think then the better option is just to run 1 or 2 Roswell, because this is being searchable. This can really fuck up Rayleigh's game. Blah, blah, blah. I cannot speak anymore. So this is a possibility if you want to run it, but I would prefer then Roswell over it. It's also a 1k counter, and it just gets rid of 2 bodies for Rayleigh or 2 bodies for Zoro. So the Kyoshiro, etc. This card is amazing. But this is basically the options I have for Emu. I hope you enjoyed it. I will be releasing some IRL games the moment I can get that going. So be on the lookout for that. And thanks again for watching. See you guys next time.